Hey YouTube, how's it going? Felix here. Today in this video I want to talk about one of my favourite topics of all, something I'm really passionate about and I love talking about. It's personalised registrations, also known as private registrations or perhaps vanity plates in the USA. Things like this plate we've got here on the Alpine A110. It's a really interesting market for these registration plates in the UK. Very different to some other countries in the world, and we own 4 different private registrations in this family. And in this video I want to talk about it. I want to show you all 4 plates we've got, so I'll tell you what I like about them, tell you about the different styles of plates you can get and what I think their investment potential is, things like that. And yeah, just show them off. No, not show them off, but I just want to show you because I think you might find it interesting. We also just very recently bought a new private registration for our Range Rover Vogue SE here. If you haven't seen the video about my Range Rover Vogue SE, click the little link there in the pop-out banner and you can watch the video about this car. But yeah, we bought a new plate for that car, so I want to show you that. I'll save that for the end of the video. But anyway, let's start with the cheapest plate we've got and then work our way up to the good ones. Okay, let's go. Okay, so let's go. This is the first plate I want to show you. You might have seen this plate before in some of my Clio videos. If you haven't seen any of my Clio videos before, I will put a little link to the playlist there. You can have a look at some of my videos on this car. But this is the plate, H7 Bud. I'm sure you've worked it out already. It's supposed to say, "Hi Bud." It's a sort of joke plate. It's supposed to be just funny. Of course, the 7 is supposed to be the I in high. Of course, H1 Bud, the different version of this plate, which I don't have, would clearly be a much better representation of high versus the 7. This is actually called a prefix style plate. They're really common in the UK. You see lots and lots of plates of this style around, that being sort of letter, number, or numbers, letter. This plate I actually inherited from my uncle, who used to be part of some restaurants in the Northamptonshire area called Buddy's. If you've ever been there, if you've ever been to Buddy's in Northampton, then leave me a comment. I'd love to see if anyone's ever been there before. But he's no longer part of those restaurants, and I ended up inheriting the plate off him. So I didn't pay any money for it, and since it's sort of just a sort of joke plate, I just keep it on the Clio as a bit of fun, and it's just sort of sentimental value, a bit nostalgic for me because I can remember this car. I can remember this being on things like my uncle's Lotus Elise back in the 1990s, the late 90s. So yeah, it definitely has some memories for me. One thing people sort of forget about these plates is they actually do have a year associated with them. So the H here actually denotes the year of this car or the plate. A lot of people, when they buy these plates, they just buy them these days because they look cool. But the H here actually denotes a year, and that's 1990 for H in the UK. So I couldn't, if I had a car, for example, from 1989, I couldn't put this plate on that car. I can only put this plate on a car of 1990 or younger. In terms of value, these sort of joke plates like this, they're really hard to value. I reckon it's probably worth about maybe 500 quid. At most, maybe say £1,000, not much more than that, I would say. If you're looking for a plate of this style, the best place to find them by a long way is on the DVLA's own website. I'll put a link in the description. You can go to the DVLA site and then you're buying it directly from the government and you're not paying any middlemen or anything like that to get hold of one of these plates. Okay, on to the next. Now I just want to jump in and say something quickly about private number plates. It's really hard to value private number plates, I find, because in many ways the private number plate market is just like the art market. It really is a sort of case of the number plate is worth what someone is willing to pay for it. So say for example my plate over there, H7 Bud, to me as a sort of joke plate, it's probably worth like 500 quid or maybe £1,000, something like that, just as a joke. That's what I could probably sell it for. But say for example there was someone out there called Harry Budd and he had 7 kids, and H7 Bud was just the absolute dream plate for him. It was completely perfect in every way and he desperately wanted it. Maybe he'd give me £2,000 for that plate, maybe he'd give me £3,000. It's really a case of the plate is worth what someone's willing to pay for it, and that's what you see with a lot of these plates. It's all about sort of perceived value. They're really hard to value. So yeah, make sure you don't overpay for your plate just because you really want it. Make sure it actually has some like objective value behind it as well. Tricky to do. Anyway, on to the second plate. Let's go. Okay, so here is the second cheapest plate we've got, which I want to tell you about. So this is a really interesting plate, if you ask me. DGZ711, so DG are my dad's initials, and then the rest is just random, to be honest. We bought this as a sort of a nice plate for the Range Rover, just so we could take the year off it and have something sort of cheap and you know, cheap and cheerful to go on the car while we search for a really, really cool plate, which I'm going to show you in a second. You can buy a plate like this, of this style, so 3 letters and then 3 numbers. You can buy them for a fixed price from the DVLA website, so from the government's website for selling for number plates. You can buy it directly from the government. We bought this plate for £399, including all the fees and taxes and everything, just £399 all in. You might think, you know, why would you buy that over something like a prefix style plate? Well, in my opinion, I think these are quite unusual and they're quite cool. You know, you don't really see that many cars with this style of plate on them, and I think they're quite nice. And yeah, for £399 all in, it's actually quite a bargain, if you ask me. In terms of resale value right now, I don't know if it's worth much more than what we paid for it. I think we might be able to get 500 quid for it, or maybe 600, something like that. But you know, it's not a plate you particularly buy as an investment, but it's just more of a cool plate for your car. You'll find that all the plates they sell in that sort of on the website, I'll link it in the description here so you can have a look if you want. You'll find that they all have either a Z here or a I in the 3rd letter. They're actually from the Northern Ireland set of plates. I believe what the DVLA do, and don't quote me on this, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe what they do is they take the plates they issue for Northern Irish new cars, which are of the style letter, 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 number, 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 and they take the ones which have 3 numbers and they sell them themselves. The DVLA sell them. And then, so the ones which have a good number, so for example, DGZ 700 or a nice round number, they will put those to auction. And then the ones which have like bad numbers, for example, like 711, so random numbers, they'll put those on their list and sell them at a fixed price, which is where we bought this one from. I guess a top tip is if you're looking for one of these plates, have a look for the ones which include number 1s in them, because they're the same price as all the other plates, but the number 1s take up less space on the plate, right? Because you know, these 2 1s are less wide than this 7, which means you actually get more yellow on the plate, which, you know, in my opinion, looks a bit cooler because you want to sort of minimise the width of your plate. So yeah, they're really, really interesting. I don't know, maybe a bit of a hidden secret. I'm not sure many people know about these plates and their availability from the Northern Irish set. If you're after a relatively cheap plate for your car that looks quite cool, in my opinion, then they might be worth a look. I'll put a link in the description. It won't be affiliate or sponsored or anything like that. Just have a look if you fancy it. Anyway, okay, on to the good stuff. Let's go. Okay, so finally we arrive at the good stuff. So here we go. This is the plate we've got on the Alpine A110. As you can see, it is 87 DG. So this is known as a 2x2 style of plate with 2 numbers and then 2 letters. There's also the alternate version, which is 2 letters, then 2 numbers. They also exist. And to be honest, I think the ones with 2 letters first, opposed to 2 numbers, they're worth maybe slightly more. Of course, as I said in the previous clip, it all really depends on the day of what they're worth and who wants to buy it most. But yeah, 87 DG, it's a really, really cool plate if you ask me. Really, really nice on its small plate here, which is a sort of cut down number plate. This is road legal, it's completely legal here in the UK. As long as you maintain this spacing around the outside of the letters, it's legal, and that looks really, really cool on the Alpine if you ask me. It sort of takes up very little space and looks awesome. An interesting thing about the 2x2 style is that the DVLA, so the government, have actually sold all of them. So they're all sold. You can't buy one of these anymore brand new from the DVLA or from the auctions. They're all completely gone. So if you want one of these, you're either going to have to buy it from a reseller, so like a number plate company who resell these, or you're going to have to buy it from a private individual in a private sale. We bought ours from a reseller, so we bought ours from a company called National Numbers, not sponsored or anything like that. They didn't pay me to say that. That's just the company we bought from. Their service was pretty good. They were nice people. And we bought this plate all the way back in 2013. It's been on quite a few different cars. And back in 2013, we paid £6,000, including VAT, including the transfers, the taxes, the fees, everything, all in. We paid £6,000 for this plate, which at the time, I think was quite a lot of money. However, this plate has proven to be quite a good investment, if you ask me. They are definitely worth more than £6,000 today. It's hard to say exactly how much it's worth because they don't sell that often, and the market's very hot at the moment. It's all very debatable, but I reckon it's probably worth about £15,000, maybe a touch more, maybe a touch less. It really depends on the day. But of course, it's not for sale, and we want to keep it. But you know, for example, maybe there's someone out there who was born in 1987 with the initials DG who desperately wants this plate. Maybe they come to us with an offer for 25 grand. You know, as I said, it's all completely variable. So yeah, it's a really cool plate if you ask me. This style is very popular, and they sell really well, and they look good on a lot of cars. I love this plate, and I think we'll be keeping it for a long time. Okay, so on to the bit you've all been waiting for, our new plate. Okay, now onto the last plate. So this is the new plate we've got for our Range Rover. So here's the old plates there on the ground. And are you ready for this? Drum roll, please. Here it is. 2 FDG. Very cool, if you ask me. So this number plate it's called a 1x3. So it's a 1 number, then 3 letters style. It's a different style, a sort of alternative style to the 2x2s. Yeah, they're probably worth a bit less than the 2x2s, but you know, they're also a pretty cool plate style, and they look really nice, and are nice and short as well. Don't take up much space on your number plates. You have lots and lots of yellow, which looks really cool if you ask me. So yeah, there's a bit of a story behind this plate. Back in sort of May this year, May of 2021, we were looking at some of the auctions, because the DVLA, they auction number plates here in the UK, and the auctions have in the past have been quite sort of quite unknown, and it's been a good place to sort of have a little look around and maybe get a bargain on a really cool plate for not that much money. But in May, I think lockdown in the UK has led so many people to have so much money and want to spend so much money on their cars. The auction was crazy. The prices were really high for some plates. Some went for absolutely crazy money, if you ask me, compared with what they traditionally sell for. So yeah, we were looking at a few plates in the auction, but they were really a lot of money, and we ended up finding this plate, which my dad really liked, and we ended up buying this. We bought it from a reseller. The reseller is Registration Transfers Limited. They gave us these plates with their name on. Not sure I like those. I think I'll probably get rid of them at some point for some nice like blank plates. But anyway, for now, they gave us those plates. Registration Transfer is probably the biggest reseller of number plates in the UK. Their service was really good, to be fair to them. And yeah, this plate, it was something we really wanted, and I think it looks great on the car. Let me show you the front as well, and show you what it looks like up there in the white as well. Yeah, it looks cool, if you ask me. It's a really cool plate. How much did we pay? That's the question everyone wants to know. We paid, so including all the fees, the VAT, which is the sales tax here in the UK, the transfer fees, everything, we paid about £8,000 for this plate, which seems like a lot of money. I do think it has investment potential, and you know, a plate of this size and of this you know, of this sort of number and of that letters, I actually think 8 grand is not a bad price for that at all, if you ask me, given the market at the moment. And you know, there will no doubt you know, the price will change in the future. So yeah, really happy with this plate. I think it's very cool. I forgot to mention as well, this plate here is dateless, so you can apply this to any car regardless of age, and the same applies to this plate as well. You can also apply this plate to any car regardless of age, so they can go on anything you want. Okay, let's wrap it up. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my little tour of the number plates we've got. If you have any cool plates of your own, please post them in the comments. I'd love to see what you've got. Personally, I'm just always fascinated by private number plates. I think it's such a cool thing, and a very sort of unique thing to the UK. I know a lot of other countries have private number plate markets, but here it's a really buoyant market, and it's a very cool thing to be a part of. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions or comments, please put them below. I'd love to hear it. If you're interested in more random car videos like this, maybe you want to see more Range Rover content or Alpine content, or even Renault Clio content, maybe hit the subscribe button below. Help get me to 1,000 subscribers, and yeah, lots more cool car content coming. Catch you soon. Cheers.